I like this race course much better than last year's.
Why?
Yeah, because it's a 2.5 mile course. I think unlimited hydroplanes perform better on a 2.5 mile race course.
Can you explain why they do?
Yeah, because they're so fast, and we can go into the corners faster, we can come out faster, we can run faster straightaways, and I really truly think it gives the spectators a much better show.
Real good. It did what we expected it to do. When you move weight farther back in a boat, it makes it light up in the front. When I ran into the wind, you could see that it got pretty high up in the front end. So now we're going to start working with the wing to try and settle that front end down a little bit.
We were basically trying to make sure we could get the boat up on a plane, and I talked to Jim before we went out, and he said, if everything goes well and you're able to get it up on a plane, run just a couple of laps. This is a brand new motor that we've never run in the boat before, and kind of get some instrument readings, and if you feel comfortable, go a little bit hard. But we really didn't, in all honesty. I know people, when you say, well, we didn't really mean to go fast.
Occurred approximately 30 seconds after the start of Heat 1B as the fleet screamed down the straightaway towards the south turn. The Executone, piloted by rookie driver George Johnson, was in the outside lane. Following the sudden veer to the left, the Executone struck the Squire shop and then was struck by the oncoming pay-in pack. Neither Johnson or Squire driver Tom DeHeath were injured, but the pack's John Walters suffered numerous serious injuries and was rushed by helicopter to Harborview Hospital. The Executone sank immediately, and the other two boats were severely damaged. Race officials are still trying to determine the cause of the accident. Johnson says the Executone seemed to be running fine prior to the collision and can't explain what happened. However, other drivers question that, pointing to the way the boat was porpoising or bouncing prior to the start of the heat. And when viewed in slow motion, the Executone appears to dive into the water as a result of a previous bounce. Chip Hanauer and the Atlas Van Lines easily outdistance all challengers. After the final heat, Hanauer characterized yesterday's win as the thrill of a lifetime.
Winning the Gold Cup in Detroit was the ultimate for me, but then winning, the race here in Seattle, the Sea Galley Seafair race, it's beyond description. It's for a kid growing up in Seattle, this is the ultimate.
The next stop for the Unlimiteds is the Circus Regatta in San Diego. For the 10 o'clock news, Bill Benson reporting.
A familiar sound in a new place, the roar of hydroplanes on Tacoma's commencement bay. Drivers in 3 classes of limited boats tested the waters off Old Town this afternoon. It was just south of where the race course will be located for the August 29th Tacoma Inboard Championship. Calypso driver Terry Troxell found the waters completely raceable.
We had some waves caused by some big cruisers coming by. Didn't know what we were doing today, and that caused a little bit of problem. I made, I think it was 2 speed runs by at over 100 miles an hour with the 280, and when we got in some good water, it was excellent. As far as rating the race course on a 1 to 10, it looks like an 8, maybe better.
Troxell said the salt water is faster than fresh because it's more dense, but he said the course will be safe. Event promoter Stan Nagarado said the Unlimited exhibition set for race day is still on. He thinks the threat of fines and sanctions against Unlimited participants is a misunderstanding.
I do know that unequivocally, as of this morning, the Atlas Van Lines is going to be here. And one of their boats is, one of them was the Executone, of course, is in about 100 feet of water in Lake Washington. Might be a little difficult making the show, but it was going to be here originally too. So as I understand now, going back on some of the things that the Sanctioning and Rules Committee have told them, that they just have to check through them to get a sanction to come. So I think that perhaps that might have been misinterpreted.
Fans will be charged $5 for a good view of the race. Part of the proceeds will go to the Daffodil Festival. If there are future races, revenue will be used to make improvements to the waterfront along Commencement Bay. In Tacoma, Steve Williams for the 10 o'clock news.
They hope it's perfected, Sam. They've never had to use it. Let's hope they do not.
Racing. Reporting for Motor World, this is Dennis Torres.
Dennis, Fred Merkel has been king of American road racing.
We're able to acquire some Lycoming T55s, very similar to those used in the pan pack for the Atlas Van Lines, except these make a little bit more horsepower. They'll be a little bit over 3,000 horsepower and still weigh only 700 pounds, which should give us a very favorable power-to-weight ratio, and the boat will weigh only in the neighborhood of 5,000 pounds.
Jim's decision to go to the turbine provides a real challenge for me, as it will require a different feel. It'll have different skills involved, taking care of the turbine itself and being able to be competitive with it. And number 2, I'm really happy about us narrowing the horsepower gap to our main competitor, the Budweiser.
The field includes the Atlas Van Lines, driven by Chip Hanauer. The new turbine-powered boat has had its share of problems this year, but carried Chip to victory last weekend in the Tri-Cities.
We did win, true, but we had a lot of problems in the process, and we did damage a lot of equipment over there. So we're really not very deep in equipment right now, and that's always a worry.
Career wins. Second-place man Wayne Rainey could be the only rider on the list competing on a superbike in 1987.
When Moto World returns, we'll turn our attention to motocross. The 1986 season featured some of the best action in years. Stay tuned. We'll be right back on the Nashville Network.
Come ride with me and I'll take you where you never been before. Ride with me and...
Second in the overall point standings is the Squire Shop, driven by veteran Mickey Riemann. He trails the first-place Bud by only 906 points. A good season so far for Riemann, who's back in the driver's seat after a 6-year layoff.
Yes, we're having a lot of fun, and Squire Union Bay boat is running extremely well, and we're going, what I like is we're going faster and faster. Each race we're going a little faster, and that's a good sign.
It looked like a bad sign, though, late this afternoon when the Squire suddenly went dead in the water and had to be towed back in.
I got a cramp in my leg. And when I'm beating the cramp out, I hit the ignition switch and turned it off. So don't tell anybody, though.
Simply put, the turbine engine allows more horsepower for less weight, resulting in a lighter boat, producing faster speeds. but they also produce less noise. I'll show you what I mean. This is a piston-powered hydro. And this is a turbine engine. Squire shop owner Bob Stiles sees this so-called lack of noise as a big minus for turbines.
And if you have 6 or 8 of those turbines out there running around all together, it's going to sound like a bunch of hair dryers running around or Hoover vacuums that you used to drag along behind you vacuuming the floor. And if that's what the fans want out there, we'll sure be here with it. But right now, as far as we're concerned, the fans really like the noise too. And
it's always been fun to hear the real loud boats, but I think these new boats are exciting. I don't know much about them, but I think they go a lot faster. I think they're real exciting.
They're really getting into the more higher tech aspects of racing, and I think that's really what we've got to look for, not volume.
Not all the boats will ever be turbo. Nobody will have that much money. There'll always be some roaring boats out there. You'll never lose it totally, I don't think.
But is going turbine that expensive? Will they be limited to just the bigger racing teams with the bigger bucks?
We believe this is a cheaper way to go. We only build 2 engines a year. They have to build 10 to 15. We went this direction because of cost. We can cut our crew down, we can have less people on the crew, and we simply plan on using 2 engines for the next 3 years.
Basically, the turbine is the way of the future. You have to say that for a variety of reasons. It's a safer engine to run. You don't have to see speeds of 185 or 90 miles an hour to qualify over 135. We've run at 139, almost 140, and never gone over 150 in the straightaways.
So far, the turbines have won just 2 of the 6 races this season, both by the Atlas. However, there are those who feel it's just a matter of time before the new engine becomes the engine.
And right now, they can buy a 3,000 horsepower, 4, a 5, a 6, a 7, what do you want? It's $250 for horsepower. How much do you want? We can't. We're stuck with what we've got. So Atlas already has 1,000 more horsepower than we do. Where do you go from there?
But of the Tosti and the Miller Lite All-Star and the Atlas van lines, I think that all 3 turbines are making strides. One week we'll make big strides, the next week the Lite will make big strides. By the time we hit either this race or the race in San Diego, all 3 turbine boats are going to be finishing 1, 2, and 3.
We lost what we call a power section or a power turbine wheel. And the last wheel or turbine wheel that spins back here, for some reason, let go of the shaft and basically exploded. When that happened, it did some damage to inside the hull, and also we had some raw fuel, and that caused the fire.
Tunnel design, and it's revolutionary. It's new to the sport, and we really don't have any known facts to judge by, so it's a trial and error thing.
A little strange for you at first?
Well, I expected it to be stranger. Really, once I got in it felt pretty good.
an entry level, we're paying our dues. We hope to do it short and come in right. Domino's is notorious for doing a good job, and we plan to follow through on everything we do.
Well, of course, we'd all like it to just pop out and run 180 miles an hour, but I don't think any of us really were too surprised that it didn't just do something really dramatic. But we're certainly not discouraged. It's just really that's all we came to do. We've got some changes we're going to make, and we'll go from there.